Happy Sunday. If you're not watching this live, we are going to do a little breakdown of some time frames here if you want to stick around to watch a little bit of this video in the beginning, and then we can talk about some other things, talk about whatever you guys want to. But today we're going to be giving away those daily expected moves in the bottom right corner. I didn't have a full couple of hours to make a video, so I just got back from the pool kind of, and I just need to come and talk to you guys, get a little video out there. And I thought, hey, if I have an hour, why not just hop on and push that live button and talk about some stocks with you guys and how this thing might move on, say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday. We can read into the weekly expected moves. We can read into the daily expected moves using our 30-minute chart. So if you stick around just for a moment here, if you're not watching live, well, we're going to get into some stuff. We're just going to wait for some people to trickle in. Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, Dimitri. How you doing? Oh, you bet, Dimitri. I just thought it'd be a better time to just be like, if I can't put anything out at all, well, flipping on that live button for a little bit ain't gonna hurt. So I won't steal too much of your time on this Sunday. We're just gonna make sure to get that information out there. Let's go go ahead and notice that the month, or sorry, not the monthly expected moves. The monthly expected moves have changed. So if you do need any of these moves, you can see that in yellow we have the monthly expected moves for the SPY. In purple we have the weekly expected moves. And the daily expected moves are in red for Monday, but those can be found also in the bottom right corner if you are wanting them for the SPY and the Qs. If you wanted the levels for the Qs for the coming month and week, we would have in yellow the monthly expected move as well. The weekly expected moves are in purple and the daily expected moves in red, or for the daily expected moves, you can look in the bottom right corner. We notice we don't have too big of moves, so it means we might be up for something unexpected. The market got tight again with our moves, which means the last time they got tight, then we saw this moment the next week. So are we about to see some kind of big drop or big pop? Maybe we need to watch for a couple of days first. But right now, you do have a contradiction. I think that's something to talk about. You do have a contradiction between what you would say price action versus technicals at this point. So just so you are aware, we have new news. Trump will talk to China. Hey, Sammy, tell us some more about that, buddy, okay? So for right now, you have a difference here between technicals and what you would call, price action. Overall, price action, you might have heard, is holding up very well. You probably hear people say price is holding very well. Things are looking stable still. Well, the technicals are what tell us when that could have a potential to turn around. And those are flashing red, but the price action refuses to show a very, very clear pathway down. We make these pathways down with price action, but then we see too much bullishness to consider that going to be some kind of rollover. So right now, the statement that we're talking about here is your 2-hour chart, kind of confirming what you would consider to be a potential what? Lower high, right? We break through something critical. We see that bounce up into who? Well, the sellers, but we went too high. We kind of beat out those sellers for a little bit, and then we curled down. And so from this stage, you're going, oh, we're curled down. So that means we need to make that new low. That's actually what you're kind of looking for. You're looking for that new low, right? For this market to go a little bit bearish. But the problem here is the technicals get it wrong sometimes if the price action is able to hold up. So price action will really help you here. What is the price action that we're paying attention to on this, say, 2-hour chart, right? Or even, say, maybe a 30-minute chart, whatever you want to really do. Well, you saw the price action make a low, and then it went up and made a high, but it left this gap behind saying there are strong buyers. There's a lot of buying going on in between here. And so what happens a lot with price action is you dip back into those values, into that center point, and then you're able to curl up into positive territory again on, say, a 30-minute chart. So the 2-hour is trying to retest those buyers, and they are showing up right now. So that is the hesitation here, and that is usually what shows up during some type of squeezes. We actually saw a pretty good example of this right over here. If you look back to this stage, You saw us try to do something bad, but the problem was what? We broke it, and then we didn't get it to roll fully, right? We got the new low even, and it's still the buyers refuse to let it stop. They go and they show a new high. So this one is a little bit better because you showed the new high, and then you're able to see those buyers in there. You dip down into the buyers with price action, you curl up into positive territory. But in this stage, you did have some potential 2-hour what? Divergences going on, rejection divergences. So this is where you really pay attention by that center line. You look for that 30-minute if you are considering the management for the trade talked about in the full technical analysis course. Then the management for the trade would be, do I have squeeze potential? How close am I to going positive on this 30-minute? If I was saying, okay, this is going to be a top and we're going to roll down from here on the 2-hour chart, and I use that for my lower high, okay, price action is going against you right now. So this overall is saying that leading into Monday, with the information that we do have, the price action is still suggesting we're good. We could actually set a new high. But the technicals are telling you that it is overall weak. And so something that I really want to pay attention to is if we see an upward move or if we see a downward move, do we make a new high or do we make a new low? Once I see something like that, I can start to read into things. I can say, hey, we just rolled this low. Can we roll it again? Yes, there's your downward trend type move, right? And that's how we go down to lower prices. Do we actually make a new high? Because if we make this new high up here, then it would say, oh, we could get to that weekly expected move. We could even tap back down into this to actually head higher for these buyers over here. So we need to see the first reaction of the week to really dictate which direction, because as of right now, you would say what? The market is overall, I would say, consolidating just like it did right here. So you're in that again, you are in that bullish to neutral stance with the knowledge that your technicals are saying the momentum here is getting drastically weak. So you need to squeeze this thing, really, is kind of where it's at. Sunday stream, Willow. Yeah, I have about 40 minutes, and to really give you guys a video breaking this stuff down like slowly, I like to take my time. So I figured I'd just come on here, and if someone asks, I'm just gonna say it again. And if someone asks, I'm gonna say it again. And the main thing I want to get you across in your head here is you're in that neutral to bullish stance again, just like you were right over here. The only difference is over here, you showed that pathway higher right away. This one has more of a question mark. This one had a little question mark, right? A little question mark. It's like, hey, you know, we have a 2-hour divergence, but price action is still really good. So I don't necessarily want to get bearish yet, right? Then you see this, right? A lower high that confirms a 2-hour, by the way, with a solid bar. It just goes the wrong way, okay? So for the time being, price action is still saying up. But the reason you question this one more is like, oh, well, right now we have what? A lower high. We have a lower high. We haven't seen that way forward, right? We haven't seen a peak above here to say, oh yeah, like what you would have wanted to see is like a big move like this. Then you tap into those buyers and you go again. So for now, we actually could see a moment like that too. You could actually go all the way up, boom, down, and then go all the way up again if you really wanted to. You can see some crazy things in this as it chops back and forth. But I think you're more inclined to just see one good move or one bad move pretty quick. Maybe it's even quick like this, and then it just turns right back around. One bad move or two good moves, pretty much. So I think that this is more of your neutral to bullish stance still, but you didn't show the pathway higher. So you'd treat it like, hey, I'm even more questionable. Me, myself, I decided to take the longs because of the price action touch. I decided to take the longs, longer dated out all the way into July, just so I make sure to be able to manage if I would like to, or scale in if it goes down to deeper prices at some point. And I can say, okay, we're going to vomit this thing early on, and then we're going to turn around. It really is a super bullish stance for the market right now. So if the market were ever to turn down to the monthly expected move this month, I would be very excited for that. Doesn't Gamma have to fully reset though? Don't you have to see the, like everyone waits for the open on Monday? Gamma, it has to reset. I'm pretty sure, right, Joey? Am I getting that wrong? I'm feeling generous with my 40 minutes for you guys. Yeah. Hope you're doing good, Doug. Bitcoin MSTR divergences. Bitcoin does have that weakness as well. Bitcoin's been chopping lately, man. Bitcoin's been chopping. We were really looking at this like, hey, is that going to be the thing that pushes through for one more high, gives you the lower one? But all you need to know here is the daily is super, super fine. The daily is fine. And this move right now is corrective, by the way. You have a corrective 2 push down on like a 2-hour or 4-hour chart. Yeah, you look pretty corrective here. And you're dipping down into who? Look at these guys. These are your real buyers. This bar right here. This bar right here is really your buyers. I bet if you went to a daily, you're probably in those too. Yeah, you're in the wicks. That's pretty nice. So I'm not hating on this at all. I actually really like this. I think it's good. And you're even seeing it try on the 2-hour to create this higher low right now. Levels that you'd really want to take out for Bitcoin to be back on the bull. Pretty much right here. Like this is your yes. Okay. So like you could wait. Like people wait for this, by the way. People that trade, like actually trade with a lower amount of risk. They'll let the big move happen, then let it come back, and then they'll get it. Right. So these people, even these people in here, might have just let this move happen, waited for all of this to happen, and then hung out down here and then said, okay, now I'll take it. And then it goes. So you'll see it on like every time frame where they'll kind of retrace back down. I don't know if Bitcoin works that way though. I'd have to look further at Bitcoin. I know you could probably do it for MSTR though, since you are asking about it. MSTR you probably could. You could probably pull up like a daily chart right now and find a wick where it's trying to get to. I think the level you'd really like to pay attention to for like this, because that is like lower high, right? And that is coming down. You want to see all the way where that went to. I believe you'd like to go a little bit deeper here. This, as far as price action goes, is not necessarily actually behaving like in anything. It's just like, hey, where are the buyers? Like you'd maybe look here at 355, 350. For the time being, for MSTR, I think your technicals are where it's at. You've shown the way higher. You build that zone, right? This is a big zone, by the way, but you build that zone, build the entire thing, use a high, use a low to build it. Like show where did the bounce really take place and where did we try to make things happen, right? If you wanted to for this one, you could use resistance and support. We'll go over that sometime in the future, but this is still very good, right? Make the new high, okay? Come back down into where? The center point, right? I'd really like that center point, but this is just to give me an eyeball of like where I would be paying attention for a daily to curl up. So for MSTR, the 2-hour would shape up like this if we're going to turn around in a trickier way, in some kind of trap-like fashion, right? If you're going to turn around a trap-like way, then you're going to see some kind of bounce up like this. You could even reach up to these sellers, right, in here, and then you fail that at some point in any of this. You just fail that at some point. You roll down one more time, get into this level for a tag, and then you see like 2-hour divergence would be awesome down here. You just see a boom into a bust, into a divergence set. I think that would be fantastic. But for MSTR, I'd also pay attention to the fact that I believe Bitcoin would probably want to make a higher low. So MSTR, I would probably say be aware of a higher low on the 2-hour scale. So this means if you get some kind of ripping move or just for whatever reason, like we take out a bulk of the sellers, you get above this bar for even a moment, you go like this, then you come back down, and then you use the buyers to head up. I think that would be fantastic because so far it looks pretty good. So I'd be looking for a divergence or the higher low, and then this is where I'd probably say that we're going to go into an uptrend and make a new high. Yeah, that was kind of fun. I like that one. That one's a hard. It's like it's not like a super clear one, but you can kind of read into like, oh, I need the momentum to slow down or shift back up first, right? Oh, I want the momentum to shift up first. And I'm talking about it going bullish, right? But there's ways for it to keep just doing what? Reject and go down, reject and go down, fail the divergence, right? That's where you have your management for risk. Yeah, let me see here. What up, Duranto? Welcome back, buddy. We look at Mara. We can look at Mara for you, Dimitri. You were like the second one in here. Come on, but bro, you know I'm gonna look at one for you. Rocket poop. This one here is much more happening on the daily scale. Much more. Now, where will people take this opportunity? This is where you look at that previous block. You can use either form. You can look where the buyers really seriously stepped in. It's all of that. So you're really paying attention to a lot of it. You'd probably ignore people in here and come down into the gap, right? So I think it might have further to go. But I would draw this little zone up for you. I would mark off that high up there. Bink. And bink. Mark off that low. And just say, okay, there's my area. And you can see that area is very good to pay attention to because look at these buyers in here. They came in, right? We went into the gap back here, by the way. So what you want to see here for bullishness is the fact that, one, you want to look at your technicals, right? Let's do this the right way. Let's really do this the right way. How to do this the right way is immediately stop everything, look at your technicals. On the daily time frame especially, stop and just look at your technicals. Is the MACD really, really bad right now? No, it's good. It's pulling back, right? It's pulling back. So I'm sitting here and I go, okay, it's good. It's positive. It's far enough positive that I'm not too worried about it breaking down. And then I'm going to use my skills later to show how it would break down so I'm aware of how it would break down. Okay, so if I wanted to do something here, I'd probably be looking for a 2-hour high or low or a 2-hour divergence somewhere around the middle of this zone, or preferably the top of this zone. But as we've seen a reaction out of it and we're coming into it, it's not really bearish, right? It's still a bullish thing. It's still a good thing for this to pull back into liquidity, right? So this is great. And all I want to see from this is it to cross back up out of this zone and break through those main sellers. That gives me the inclination that we can head higher, right? But when do I overall take the opportunity? Well, it depends on how much risk that you like, right? This is maybe a topic that we don't talk about very often. Like when exactly do you point, there's 73 people in here. You. Each individual person is going to have a different moment that they feel comfortable assuming the risk. Some of them might assume the risk on Friday and say, yeah, we're towards the middle of this zone. We're right in that buy point. We just set the new high over here. We're in that up trend. Okay, so we're going to go again. My MACD looks fine. RSI, yeah, it's cooking down past that center line. It's getting a little bit more aggressive, but maybe that's just to fake people out. I'm just paying attention to how it holds up. Okay. So this guy just goes, I like it. All right, cool. Maybe I'm going to take longer dated options, but it's cheaper now. Awesome. How much of a discount? Let's see. 17, 18% discount. Okay, awesome. Then they would go, but some people will look at this and say, I want to see the reaction on, say, Monday. So if on Monday I start to see this break out, I'm going to take that opportunity and try to see if this thing's going to turn around. And then there's some people that'll say, I'm going to wait for the technical setup on the 2-hour, and then I'll take that opportunity to say I'm turning around. That's me. This is me. That's me most of the time. Like 95, 90, I would say 90% of the time, I am strictly waiting for my setup, for my 2-hour lower, higher low, for my 2-hour divergence. That's me, right? I just wanted to point that out to you guys. This is why, like, trading is much more about what you think. You can analyze with me. I can give you my analysis, but how are you going to execute things? Because you have to do it. Okay? So I wanted to go through for just a moment here and talk about the different type of people, right? People who want to assume more risk versus people who want to assume less. And I sit right in the middle of those. Why? Because I'm this guy. Remember? I'm this guy. I'm like, I'm skeptical about buying this because it's dropping pretty fast. All right, and then we're going to go over the bearish thing here as well for Mara, so thanks for bringing it up. It's a good one. This is a fun one. This is a great one. You have so much. Look at this. Look at this all the way across. Oh, it's so good. So I'm this guy, though. I go, yeah, this is the great buy point for just like people to kind of go buy, have a stop, have a a price point of like what? I don't know, maybe something like the middle of here. So probably like 1873. So risk to reward is there. I see the trade that they would take, but me, myself, I like to make sure this thing's going to turn around first, and most of the time the market's going to give me a hint, and I'm not that bummed out if I miss out if this thing just V-shapes out of nowhere. I can always get in on a daily cross-up, right? I can always get in here if I miss out in the inside. But me, I like to wait. That's me. A lot of the time you'll hear me saying, I'm being patient for it. If it doesn't give it to me, it doesn't give it to me. I'm being patient for it. Now, sometimes I've made a different decision with that based on other things. But for this one specifically, I would say it is doing something good. It is dipping back down into liquidity. They are going to tell you it's awful. And then you just see if you get signs it's going to turn around. And if it does, then you assume the risk that you would like to take when the opportunity is right for you. And hopefully this information helps you in indicating your plan for your trade, right? That's probably the best way to put it. Now, Dimitri, I'm going to top it off because this is a great thing to know. How would this break down through the zone, right? Well, to be honest, it's pretty simple. You're going to see these sellers get pretty ramped up. You're going to break this low. Then you're potentially going to find somewhere where you're going to retest. It probably would end up being in this bar right here, actually. It probably would be like right here. And you're probably going to break this rapidly. And then you're going to see it come back up. And then it's going to tap off that and it's going to roll down. And you'll say left, head, right shoulder. This is how liquidity is grabbed. This is why marking off these zones for yourself if you don't have a lot of time in the market is a very good thing. Right? Me, I've looked at these charts for so long. I used to look at charts for like 18 hours a day, right? So I've looked at countless, I would say thousands and thousands of hours at charts at this point. And so for me, I don't really mark off the zones often, but some people were losing their minds a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, you're losing. Okay, let's talk about these zones, right? Let's really put those zones up. So this is how you break down through a zone. And that's how you break out of a zone, right? You test it to go higher. And that's as simple as that. Look at Mara, please. We've been on Mara for 7 to 8 minutes. Lizard, rewind and stop clicking around other channels. If you ask me to look at a stock, please at least sit there for 10 minutes because I'll probably see your message. It's Sunday. The market's not even moving. I got you, Lizard. Yo, can you look at Mara? We just did for an hour. No, not an hour. But yeah, check it out. Laws likes it. You want to do spot? We can do spot. And I'm sorry if I didn't see yours. We'll look at AVGO as well. Who has that one? Brian. We can look at that. Adrian, thanks for joining us. Thanks for saying hello. So do you see how, like let's just look at what Spot did just now. It's already done it. It's already like done the thing it needs to do. And really, this isn't even like proper, this isn't even like the proper zones you would technically make. But I think this zone is relatively good. The zone that actually more so matters in all of this, just so you're aware, is where did we break down the second time? Weirdly enough, this high and this high are way more important than anything going on like down in here. So really for this one, you'd want to be marking off this low to this high and dragging it across and going like that. This is so important for this time because that was the major breakdown. You always look for where like the next push really broke you down, and these type of ones to mark off a zone. We'll get into this more and more. The file that's saved for the video to put in the course today, it's like messed up. I got to change my system. I got to change the thing I use to edit videos because it keeps saving it in a file that doesn't cooperate with Teachable. So I apologize if that hasn't come out yet. I'm going to try to reformat it later today and get it out there, okay? But this is a very, very critical moment where we tried to come back and we just failed. So very good level to mark off. If you wanted another one to mark off and you didn't catch this one, then you would say anything from down in here up to here, okay? You doesn't have to be exact because you're more looking at what? The behavior within liquidity. So as long as you are in some way getting it slightly right, it will help you. But look at this, breaks out, right? Came back down into this zone, right? That's great. Boom, boom, boom. And then it comes down into this zone to do what? Go higher. So this does not have to come back down to these levels again. This literally does not have to come back down to these levels ever again. Spot can literally go make a massive high here, and it would make sense. It could turn down and retest the area, and it still would make sense, right? You can go into here multiple times, as much as you want. So I'll look at the shorter time frames in a second, right? But for the time being, you see the pathways higher. So if it even dips back into this zone, it's still overall good. Maybe you want it to set a new low. You don't want any kind of pathway down, right? You probably don't want that. You probably want this to take off right now is what I think. I think you want spot to take off right now, and I think it's got a high probability to do so. As you look at the 2-hour chart, do what? It set a new low after making a high. And this is very, very sideways, sideways, sideways. It's building. And right now the momentum is pointing that way. So if on Monday you see this low taken out, everything changes. It just goes straight down. Boom, boom, boom. You come back down into the zone, and then you look for behavior in the zone. You have a ton of divergences here. And if these can get wiped out, though, which I think is very probable with your price action and the behavior here, then this thing could be gearing up for this, like a wham kind of move. And then it probably sees some kind of big drop and then goes again, right? It probably goes like this. That's the that's how I see this for the time being. I actually think spot's going to do pretty well here. Now, we need to see that Monday open, right? This is where do people take the opportunity, right? Let's really dig into it. Where would people take the opportunity? Well, some people wait for the cross up, right? Some people wait for the pullback on a shorter time frame. Look at this. Buyers, dips into it, goes up, right? This is good. So now on Monday, you could see this. You could see this. You just don't want to start to see. You could see all the way like this. But you don't want to see this level taken out because that starts to open up to pathways down. All right. Now, you might, in this, if I was in this and I saw a 30-minute roll here, I would be managing risk. And I would say, okay, if that wants to curl back up, okay, I'm back in, right? I would still be managing risk in this play. Me, personally. Like I said, people like to assume different kinds of risk. But me, personally, in the way I teach it in the course, I like to look at my MACD. I like to look at my MACD and go, how close is that to the center line? It's still pretty close. So if I see negativity right away and this thing crosses down on a 30-minute, it's going to be like down here, losing this and going boom, boom, boom. And technically, you don't want to lose this wick, actually. So I don't think you want to even come down to here. I think the lowest point that you want to get down to is this wick right here, and I'll even mark it off for you. Right there. That's the lowest you want to go. If you go past that, you start to hesitate on taking longs. That's what it means. EMA, SMA. Yeah, I mainly use SMAs. I believe the only EMA I have is the 20. The 20. Now, I've been taking these off the charts just to show, like on YouTube, how little they actually matter in the grand scheme of things. So if you know this, if you've known this about me, I do use some of these lines for confirmations, but do I utilize them for trades as my number one thing? No. I literally have not had these lines, a lot of them, on the charts for like a week and a half now. And we've still done what? We've still done really well. So there's no, like, I want to show people like how you, at least for me, I don't necessarily put like a ton of emphasis on the tag of the 200. I believe they're more guidelines to like look for reversals. And so if you were going to say pull back on this 30-minute and you were looking at these lines, you would say there's a confluence of these lines where, right where buyers would step in this fair value gap, right? Bam, right there. Or you would say, well, if it wanted to test the 200, it would be going into right here. Price action will tell you the same thing. These things will just show you like, yes, that is an area to pay attention to. Indicators wise, you would look at what does your indicator look like at that area, right? If I was on a daily chart for, say, SPY, and I was looking for, hey, are we going to get some support in here? I can pay attention to this area, right? And look for, do I have a weekly move there? Do I have any reversal signal there? Is it oversold there and needs to at least bounce, right? I can look for all those kinds of things. But I just don't think like moving averages, for the most part, you can, like, and this is all from my perspective. Like you can use these, anything that I use and you use, you can use them in a way that makes sense to you. For me, I just wanted to show how we didn't need any of these on. The only one I really like to have is like the 9. And I didn't have a lot of these on for a long time. I just wanted to show them. But yeah, so if you can literally look at all this. This is all I mean, and I like genuinely actually we need this back up. We definitely need that up. We like the 5-day. Like volume, I'll look at every once in a while. The Bollinger Bands, I'll look at it. Like we could do Bollinger Band analysis if we wanted to. Okay, well, what's the most likely thing to happen here? You know, well, you kind of like a 20 for this, actually. You probably don't need a 9. You probably want a 20, right? We can analyze in different ways, and we're going to come up with the same conclusions. Okay, what did we get? Well, we got the crossing here of the 5 and the 9, which means to us that we're going to go to what? Top Bollinger. Once you go to top Bollinger, you can start to gravitate back towards that 5 to see if you'll get support to go higher. If you lose the 5, then you're probably going to test the 20. We go down and we almost test the 20 and we see support come off of that. Meaning what? Well, from Bollinger Band perspective, you should attempt to touch the top Bollinger again, right? Because you have rejected the crossing down as of this moment, you would be paying attention to this move. But eventually, this is going to come up, right? And so if you're really analyzing with only Bollinger Bands here, we do it multiple ways, right? I can do I would say I can do a justifiable, a verifiable, and a valid analysis just using Bollinger Bands, which means we're probably going to tag this. On a second push, a lot of the time to actually extend, right? Extend this, we actually want to see us come tag down in these type of areas. Wherever that bottom Bollinger is, and most likely it needs to line up with what? Some kind of liquidity, which means we're either going to go do that like right now, right? We're going to get to this gap and we're going to see some kind of pullback into liquidity, or we're going to go make that new high and then pull it back later to grab liquidity in here again, right? We can do all of this using different methods, but it's what method really clicks with you, because more information is not always better information. Someone who doesn't ever care about Bollinger Bands, and you getting this analysis right now and has nothing to do with your trading, it's not going to help you out, right? But it might help someone who does use Bollinger Bands. So you're always welcome to ask me to pull up Bollinger Bands and do a Bollinger Band analysis. But I just don't want too many contradicting things when I truly think that right now you're in a position of, like, your technicals are overall saying, hey, we're pretty weak here. We need to squeeze. And price action is saying, hey, I'm kind of prepped up to squeeze. You want to look at Google? Yeah, Mike, I just want to make sure people know that. Like, we can do, like, you can ask those type of questions. Hey, can you analyze this? And I like to use Bollinger Bands. Could you try to explain it using Bollinger Bands? And I can do it, right? Like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be able to do it. Closing outside of the monthly expected, does that affect how you approach the next month, or do you reset? It completely resets. It is mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means one does not affect the other. But one thing you would read into is, are you going into this month with any kind of unexpected news? Because the last month, you actually did get unexpected moves or unexpected news in the beginning of the month. In the beginning of May, we got 1 piece of unexpected news and 2 pieces of unexpected news, whatever it is. And then actually you got a 3rd point of unexpected news right here. So you actually got unexpected news like with the federal courts and stuff like that. So you'll have to see what really shakes up here. This market can get wonky, like chop back and forth, but still go up with price action. You got like you got a piece of news technically at the very end. So now you have to see if that's going to be adjusted. What I would pay attention to is, does the first week end bullish? 200's great. Like yeah. I think 200 is still a great thing to watch, but I don't justify a purchase because a 200 got tagged. That's all I'm trying to say, Short Fridays. And I want to be honest with people, right? I want to say like what I really, really do like to look for to actually take a trade, and what I look for to get direction. I can still use everything in my belt if I'm really confused to try to figure out like, hey, what's the direction right now? The direction right now is obviously up, and then we see if that rolls down early on this week, pretty much. All right. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. As far as monthly moves for this month, you want to treat it like its own. I think that during this month you will get some kind of news, and well, what a statement, right? I think this month you'll get some kind of news. I think this week you'll get news. I think you'll get big news towards the beginning or end of this week, and I think that news and how this week closes actually will justify where we are going by June 20th. That's what I think. I think this week is either going to close bullish or close bearish. And if it closes bearish, I think we're going to see bearishness until maybe even June 20th. If you close bullish, I think we just see bullishness until June 20th. So we'll see how it shapes up. That's my kind of thought about the monthly moves right now. I do think we will remain in them, bar something super unexpected at this point. Ryan Kitty's birthday. Yeah. Okay, if Roaring Kitty comes back, all bets are off. Second standard deviations have been posted to Patreon. Patreon members, just so you know, we have weekly moves and monthly moves over on Patreon for you. I will make sure that the weekly moves are pinned to the top. Let me do that real quick before we move on to Google and Tesla. And if you guys want to join today, perfect time to join. We just put out the monthly and weekly expected moves. All right, with second standard deviations, if you see something unexpected, like you guys are asking about, hey, this monthly, how could it be, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you see something unexpected, you look at the unexpected areas, the second standard deviation and everything like that. Okay, we're going to go into now, what is it? You want to do Google? We'll do Google. First of all, this zone, it is right. It's just off. I really want like exact, as close as possible, right? I can give myself a little wiggle room, but I want like exact. I really want the high. God dang it. I keep missing it, don't I? Maybe I'm being like anal about this, but oh, I'm getting it. It's just the green line's messing me up. That's pretty much it. Okay, so what we want here is a tap into the zone, right? We got our tap into the zone. So the next thing we'll really look for here is just like, well, where's the next zone? Oh, next zone's a little higher up. It's literally a little higher up. Okay, so what you want to do here is, one, we want to get that back down. What we want to do here is we want to squeeze. We want to squeeze and do something crazy. Like, that's what I think. I think that you're building a new block right in here possibly, right? We noticed that. I think that you're trying to do what? I think you're trying to do this. I think Google's going to try to get above 182.59. And then I think it's going to try to get above this. And if it can exceed all of that and like see a boom here, this is all barring the fact that these 2 hours are just divergence across the way, but the 2 hour keeps like losing lows and then getting a bunch of bullishness and still positive. So this is just really where it's like, where are the buyers? They're right here. We're in those buyers. So Google, if it curls up this 2 hour, it's probably making a new high. You're probably seeing a first part of that, right? You're probably seeing the first part of the squeeze, right? You're probably seeing something like this first push right here, like right in here. That's what you could see. So if we're able to do that, and then maybe come back down to those buyers, well, you're going to take back 182.59. If you're doing that and you just hold up for the month of June and create your own block, break out again, you can start to use levels like this And so what we'll do is we'll mark this zone off too. It's a little one, but little ones can matter too, right? Gentlemen, little ones matter too, okay? There you go. You want something like this. And then you'll look at this on a daily. Wait, where'd all my... Oh, okay. I was like, where the hell am I? Here. So what you want to see here is a really strong move, in my opinion. I think you want to blast off, just blast off into these sellers and either like do that new high now. Because I mean, overall, this is like buyback season. This is Google season. I think Google could see a squeeze here. I really do. We'll see how it opens up, right? We haven't seen the new high, but let's see real quick if this can go wham, get up to this area. Maybe it actually rejects from here now that I'm looking at it. So you look for rejection from this zone, and then we turn down again to go get buyers one more time. That would be a nice way to head higher. Or you just see a mega move to get to these sellers, and then you use this as support to actually go higher. I like the look of this, man. I actually really do. If this does this setup, I might be looking at Google over here. I kind of like that one. We'll see how it opens up. As of right now, the 2 hours crossed up. So what would be the bad thing to happen here? Well, the daily needs to pull back now. We need to reach down lower. And so what would we need to do? Well, we need to reject pretty much like right now. Your 30-minute chart would need to curl down into negative territory. My thing here is just you look at this 30-minute, you look at this high right there at like 173.36. You look at this high at 173.43, showing you a pathway higher, bulls down beneath, a lot of gaps to hold you up in. Okay, we just do this and then we turn up and we keep that positive trend. So really here, it gets riskier once you lose this. So if you lose this low again, you're going to start to teeter, I think. I think you're going to start to do this type of thing down. But for the time being, your 30-minute is turning up, right? So I would just be at this low, like 168.40 is pretty much where I'm like, ew, no, okay, that's bad, right? Unless I see divergence or a higher low, I'm not doing anything. That's a bearish move. Then we wanted to look at Tesla, right? Was it Tesla next? Tesla people, you ready? See, Tesla doesn't look as good. Remember this one in the video yesterday. Tesla, okay, I want to show you your indicators. Your indicators are like, this is bad. Your indicators, your technicals here, your TA is telling you right now that this is going to boom through here and then going to cross back up and then going to do this and give you that left head, right shoulder. And you're going to see this thing tumble and get a daily pullback. This is what technicals are saying. You're going to get a daily pullback potentially all the way back down into this zone. That's what technicals are really leaning towards here for the 2-hour chart. Right? You're going to go somewhere into these buyers or back into the zone completely to test it. That's what's happening here. And the problem with that right now is the price action is in an area where it could just turn around. Like, that's the crazy part. Price action is still in an area where those extreme buyers came in. This isn't always the case with 2-hour divergence, by the way, right? In different times, in different type of markets, we would look at this and be like, it's going down. Wouldn't we? We've done that. We've looked at a 2-hour divergence and not been like, oh yeah, this is... We're always aware about the 30-minute curling back up, but the 30-minute on Tesla is going negative. So this is overall bad, right? The problem is the environment of the market right now. You don't realize it, but it is like mega bull. It is mega bull right now for a few weeks. Like, that's what it seems like to me. If we get a daily pullback first, then the mega bull, I'm a little bit off on the timing there, right? And that's why I'm taking the longer dated options. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. I'm sure enough right now to risk money. I'll be more sure with a daily pullback. So for Tesla, if it wants to get the daily pullback now, love it. But all that has to happen here is, one, you have a pathway down, like a clear pathway down right now. You go down, you come up in the first batch of sellers, you just wipe it out, right? And you keep going down. But overall, this is broken out of the zone to go potentially that way again. So if I see anything bullish in here, I mean anything, this, right? I see this, right? Anything like that. Then I'm going, all right, Tesla might want to go up here. And if I see just random bullishness, because Tesla's a beast, and I just see it go wham, am I buying here? Or am I going to do this? Well, no, I'm going to be down here. I'm going to be in here. Make sure that this thing's actually a good opportunity that can extend. I'm not going to FOMO, right? So that's how I view Tesla right now. I think for Tesla, it's too hard to call. I think for Nvidia, it's too hard to call right now. I think that these things most likely will extend if we're going to see that squeeze. And SPY is saying that we're going to extend right now. Will that change on Monday? Because if it changes on Monday, we change. It is perfectly fine to be a flip-flopper as a trader. It is a good thing to be a flip-flopper as a trader. All right? So Tesla is in a hard spot. It is truly trapped. Tesla, Nvidia, those are your ones that are truly trapped between technicals and price action. It's going, yes, the technicals look bad, but people are super freaking bullish on it. Right? People are still bullish in these times right now. So if it doesn't look like, here's my question for the chat. Is this your trade setup right now? Someone tell me that this exact thing, what is happening here, is it your bullish or bearish trade setup? Because if it is, then what's the problem? You have the management for risk, right? That's what you should have if you're trading. If you're trading, you shouldn't be, doing, position sizes that'll ruin a weekend. If you're doing this and you're trading Tesla and you're saying it's going to go up or down, you know that you can be wrong, right? You've admitted that to yourself. If all your things are here for a trade, then you can take a trade. What am I trying to say? I'm saying that right here, not really these bars, but any of these bars, I mean, I probably need to put up my 9 real quick, but we'll see which one it is. Right here, you could take in early stages of the trade, right? If you're using divergences and all good stuff like that, and you go, hey, if we break the 5-day, I'm liking this even more. Bing, bing, bing. Nice. Awesome. Okay, trade's still good. When does this trade not look good? If the 30-minute curls up, right? Now, the 30-minute is pretty damn negative. So my management for the trade, I can say this is pretty negative. So if I see rejection here, then, right, if I see rejection at these levels, then I can hang on to it. But if I see it cross through that level in any way, I say I'm out. If it rolls back down, I can get back in, but there's too much risk that this could break through, right? There's simple plans you can put in place. So my question is for people that, ask for analysis is, what do you see? Is this your setup? Are you being patient right now? Are you waiting for something, right? Is this almost your setup and you're waiting for one more thing? Are you looking at like little 15-minute charts and looking for a little 15-minute divergence right here at that center point? Is that what you're doing, right? Because right now you're in an environment where TA versus PA. If PA is still correct here, then you're going to see the TA start to say, oh, we're going wrong. I jumped in blindly. I mean, at least like, here's the thing. Like some traders do this with these blocks. They literally look at these blocks on like a 2-hour chart and they'll look at them and they'll go, okay, where are the gaps? Okay, I'm going to buy it in the center of this block. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to sell it if it goes through there. I'm going to hold on to it, but take some money off the table up in here, leave some runners, right? And then the trade goes and they go, okay, oh, we didn't lose that point. All right, we're going up. And then we cross through here. They make their first sell. It extends a little more. They make their second. FOMOers get in and they make their third, or FOMOers get in and they say, haha, I'm not playing that game. We're going to pull back. Then it pulls back and then the game starts all over again right in here, right? Some people do that. But you have to be very good with position sizing, right? Because if you're wrong, you're still going to take a loss potentially. Now, a lot of those guys know even more, right? If the longer time in the market, you know that this is probably going to do that. So they would sell on the upward turn. But yeah, there's like a million different ways to do this. And so I wanted to kind of talk about that. Just went ahead with the monthly option. Sue, I'm actually going to work on that in June. So June's going to be a pretty relaxed month for me. Really been going gung ho for the last few months, and um, my wife and boy, I don't know, Spanish women, they're worried about my health, so they want me to take care of myself more. They say I work too much. So, and they're probably right. I work more than usual. YouTube has grown further than I thought it would, and so it's actually become like something to work on now, which kind of is insane. But so during the month of June, we will potentially be taking away the end of day streams for a bit of time, and we might do at days where I want to do it. We'll do some private streams so that I can work on some stuff in the background, guys. I got to work on some stuff in the background. I got a lot of people asking for annual memberships to Patreon. I got people asking about a Discord to really grow the community and build the community and make you guys closer together. There's a lot of stuff that I could make better around here, but I'm just one guy, and YouTube overall is just like a thing I do to make a little bit, for fun. And to help people, really. It really creates a good feeling inside. So it's awesome. But what I wanted to do was take a little breather and tidy some things up as far as weekly moves and how we distribute those weekly moves, live streams. Just a lot of people coming in and asking about squeeze stocks all the time and stocks that are just at like pennies. I'd really like to make it more of like I want to make a different part of this community that's more like, hey, I'm like legit. Like I legit want to try to do this. And I wanted to be able to focus on those type of people. So I'm going to be changing some things around. Yeah, you're in it for now. You should have that information. You have a Spanish husband. So you maybe, well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know about Spanish husbands, but I know about Spanish wives. And she's cooking more and more lately. Um, let's see here. Let's see if we can dig into this. Let's really dig into it for a sec. See what we're prepped for Monday. Monday, something to expect here for the 30-minute is to potentially grab buyers early on, right here at 5-day, unless we just see some news, right? Potential news or news, right? We lose the low. So daily expected moves wise, this would overall suggest from the stance that we see right now from price action, your indicators, aka your technical analysis, is really kind of in between. Your MACD is kind of in between. Your RSI just crossed the center line, so maybe this would overall say retest and then go higher for another push to something like 595.16 for Monday, if you're interested. We'll watch it together in the morning, though. Actually, I don't know. Did we look at Apple? I don't know if we looked at Apple. So I actually really like Apple. I think Apple looks pretty good. I mean, considering the little island that was created down here, pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome little island. I enjoy it. I like me an island. Maybe a nice fruity drink with some alcohol in it. Sounds pretty good right now. But the thing for me that is super interesting here is the fact that the 30-minute went so positive and then the 30-minute went down so aggressively. But that could be why, is we're trying to dip back down into the buyers, back down into that island without fulfilling that island, and then we just turn to the upside. So for something like Apple, you made some kind of pathway higher. And then you gave up a lot of the move to do what? Potentially just grab buyers. I actually think for the most part, you're seeing a higher low on the 2-hour or even hourly chart. And I think that you're looking for at least one push higher here. You can see where the sellers are stepping in is the exact level where they would want to step in. So you want to take out this high, and I would say you want to take it out pretty aggressively. So the next time that you could either get reversal or pullback will potentially be boom, something like here would be very interesting. With what we see right now, this looks very much so how it would play out. Because a lot of people would do what? Well, this would dip down into here. They would take the opportunity. They'd put a stop. They'd say, okay, I take profit above this line. It goes up like this, and then it goes through, and they say, okay, I leave the runners. Those runners go here. Then FOMOers take over. It goes here, and then it falls. right? There's kind of like a process with the buying too. So what overall would happen from there? If you get this to cross through that high, I think you're going to reach up into that gap. If you reach up into that gap, you'll actually be looking for some kind of pullback this later this week, maybe like late this week, or maybe going into next week, and then we actually pull to the upside again, and we attempt to get to this yellow line. That's what I'm in store for Apple. Let me tell you how it gets kind of bad, though. Same thing down here. We cross down, bam, then we start to use this and reject to go lower. That's how you break down. You look at the critical things you'd really be losing. You're going to stair step your way down to potentially go all the way down into like 180, 150. Like that would be, you could even go all the way to, if you really wanted to, you can go down all the way to like 173.50. You just don't want to make a new low down there, I can tell you that, because that you don't want to be a part of that roll. You want to be in cash for that roll. I'm just telling you right now, like if this happened, if that happened, yeah, you want to be in cash all the way down to like 125. So I don't think that's in store for Apple. I think Apple figures its shit out. I think Apple is going to potentially curl up here on the daily chart. You see that the daily is trying to do what? Well, it's trying to set up another higher low, higher low, higher low, right? Whether you like it or not, this is higher than that. So higher low, higher low, higher low, consolidation phase. You could be in a time like this, right? It could go either way, like that. But for Apple, the critical things to be aware of is when are you back on the full bull? This. You're back on the full bull when this type of thing happens. That's when you're on the full bull. That's when this is full bullishness, is right here. If you ever see this setup and you see Apple curling up over here, that's where Apple tries to go make new all-time highs. And that's the truth of it. And so this could be that vomit time, right? We could take our time to get there. It's never a straight line. Never think that our drawings are exactly what we think is going to happen or how it's going to play out. But for Apple, that's what I'd really like to see. Staying on a little bit longer than intended, but that's okay for now. What would you like to see from here, though, from the 30-minute? You still would like a retest of even down into 198.70. So, like I said, don't think because a thing is at a high that it's not going to come down and give you the opportunity wherever it wants to give you the opportunity, right? Whenever you see a low like this, and then it goes boom, that is what traps a lot of people and starts the confusion. They start to go, yes, 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 I'm gonna buy it. And then it goes like this, spike. And then they go, shit, 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 I'm gonna sell it. And then it goes, buyers, awesome, new high. And then they go, yes, 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 yes. Do you see how they're always like one step behind? You're living in like here. Or like, even if you want to be that guy, like I get it, especially day traders, but, or you're me. Who am I? I'm both these people. I'll draw it. I'll show you who I am. This is me, right? This is me. I'm going, yeah, that bounce, I don't trust it. There's no divergence or anything here. Oh, it bounced down low. Oh, wait, there's divergence here. So I'm here. That's me. And then I'm watching this, and I'm watching this, and I'm watching this. I'm going, sometimes I'll even take some profit right here. If there's like a weekly move, it's a big move or something like that, I'll take profit. And then it'll come down. And then I'll be this guy right here. Right? Or I can scale in once, scale in twice, hold for a few days, because that's usually the bigger move. Yeah. It's like the third move is usually the big move. So that's where I like to be. We actually didn't look at Nike yet. Let's go look. Some people ask about Nike. Why is everyone asking about Nike? Oh, I see. Okay, we got to redo our analysis with what we've been doing lately. Ooh, problem of gearing up, man. Gearing up. Okay, what do you need to lose? You need to lose. You need to take back all that. Where are you trying to get to? Where the hell are you trying to get? That's too big. Okay, from this perspective, I'm going to guess 2-hour lower high. Price action trying to hold. That's the zone. Damn, what the hell is Nike doing, bro? That's your zone there. I'm not taking the impulse move, so that's your zone there. You're stuck. You're stuck with this one. So all you're really trying to do here is figure out, are we going to go up? And the problem with this one was you did this, but this fell short. So this means bearishness is still on the table, but you're seeing a ping pong. Your ping pong zone right here. This is a ping pong. You built some liquidity down, but you built some liquidity up just before, and then you failed the upturn, and then you're failing the downturn potentially. So what you'd look for here is just, does the 2-hour confirm up? If the 2-hour, if you can see a 2-hour bar, just a strong 2-hour bar confirm like this above the 5 and the 9, this can dictate, yes, I am a higher low, and I can curl to the upside. And then you will look for what? The breakout kind of moment. And if you break out enough, you won't have to revisit here anymore. You can see breakout, retest, and go. But for this one, you can see just like up, right? We'll talk about down in a second. You still have to talk about down as well. You just would say up, right? You would say go up and get me to here. Get me to 68.48. Take me through this little island we got going on here. I would mark that off too. I would say this is the more important area, because if you can break and hold above all of that, see how we're hesitating? If you can break and hold above this, what are you also holding above? You're holding above this, that mean, nasty move down. So now, see this as 1, 2, get your 3, get a 4, get a 5, get all the way to 77.46. That would be insane. Now, that's a lot. So what I would really just be looking at for Nike is it's not moving the best. It's broken down. This could retest and fail. Do you see it? You easily see how this could be breaking down to retest into what? Weekly sellers in some way to break down again. So you have to make sure that this remains good. So if you're planning on doing options with Nike, like, I would just watch it like a hawk. And also, I would pay attention to the bearish thing. What's the bearish thing? You start losing this low. You lose this low, it starts to become a problem. You're trying to dictate that as a low right now. So if you're losing that, you're just going lower, right? And then you'll look for 2-hour divergence at some point, weekly moves, anything like that. But this means you are still at risk of turning down to go grab buyers into here, which isn't necessarily the best thing. So what I would mark off for the downside is all of this. And I would say I don't want to lose that, but I understand we're having trouble getting through the critical island here. So maybe we're going up enough to go positive, to cross back down, tag into this zone, and then turn up into positive territory. So pretty much it's, do we get a daily pullback? And is that aggressive enough that I'm like, hey, I don't want to pay attention to this anymore? Or is it a daily pullback that goes like this to curl up? That's the bearish scenario that turns bullish, right? Still kind of bullish. Because Nike's not the bullish stance that everything else is. So you have to treat it a little more carefully. So what you'd want to see is just, what's the next move? Because the next move can tell me a lot. Okay, if the next move is down, then I'm watching it here and I'm looking for reversal signals. Okay, if the next move is up, I'm watching it here for reversal signals. If the next move is up, 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 and away, am I going to FOMO in? No, I'm going to wait for that retest and watch for signals here, and the trade's way over here. This is the trade right there. So There's multiple ways to do it. I think even right now, you could have an argument for possibly even bullishness, weirdly enough, according to price action. Why? Well, because we broke out, we've retested the top here, and then we keep ping-ponging. So if I make that higher low on a 2 hour, let's say that move goes to 65, 66. It's a pretty good move. So yeah, this one takes a lot of time. I would potentially have to analyze this for like a full hour to really get through it. From the weekly perspective, this is why I'm saying options, but we said this about Nike. Look for if it gives you freaking discounts, man. That's 2017. Right now is 2020. Like, investing-wise, you have to say, hey, if I wear Nike shoes all the time and all my buddies wear Nike shoes and I love Nike shoes and I'm getting a discount on the stock of Nike, which is the shoe that I always purchase, then what am I freaking worried about right now? It's 70% off. Right? These things don't, like, at the end of the day, this, whatever. Like, what matters is this low, and is it going to be higher in the next, say, 1 to 20 years? I would say potentially yes. I would almost guarantee that you are going to see a price point higher than 60.59 for Nike in the next 20 years. I think you will see a higher price point for Nike than 60.59 in the next 5 years. But people want to make money a little faster, right? People want to make money a little faster. Ismail, sorry if I'm butchering your name, but thank you for asking. Some people wanted to look at Nike, so I appreciate you guys being annoying about it. You're not being annoying, by the way. I'm just saying, you guys are letting me know. That's a good thing, right? You're finding that balance. You guys are being great. I'm having fun. Don't tell my wife. She'll get mad at me. It will. Lizard, think of what you're saying. Olympics will surge sales for Nike. That is your thesis. That is what you think, right? That is what your argument is for Nike. If other people get that argument, and other people buy the stock, and other people cause the stock to go to $100 or $120 before you see any of that revenue come in, and then you start to hear at $120 that Nike is doing this with the Olympics, and everyone wants Nike now, and then Nike goes to 160, then it goes to 180. Wouldn't you be looking at yourself and going, man, wasn't I looking at it at $60.59? I'm just saying, if that's your actual thesis, right, then you'd say, I want to buy it low, right? If that's your actual thinking. If you're thinking, I want other people to show me the way higher before I invest, you're a different investor than me, and that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to point that out. Weekly for the SPY, is that bearish? Ooh, I don't think so. We got a weekly gap, though. Yikes! We're going to fill that at some point. Let's do it sooner. Let's just do it now. Let's just flush for like 3 days. Then we'll just boom. What do you think about like BABA and things like that? We looked at BABA like what, 2 weeks ago? Yeah, BABA rejecting from the zone. Overall, we created this big ass zone. It's very, very nice. You have a ton of liquidity up there. And you kind of see that because once you like get to it, as you're getting to it, you're kind of like really getting a lot of retests. So the liquidity here probably isn't as strong as you think, weirdly enough, for BABA, because it has to keep going grab, 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 little higher. Oh, shit. So for this is a daily lower high, like a very specifically daily lower high right now. This actually is your cup into handle type of thing. That's probably going to take place. So what you're probably going to see here is this can do whatever it wants to do. As of right now, positive trend, right? Very good, but it's going negative. So you got to treat it very seriously. And you got to say, okay, there's a lot of buyers that can hold this up. But if I'm not seeing any reversal signal in this, like at all, for like a 2 hour, divergence, a 2-hour high or low to really break me through this and say, yeah, we're going 1, 2, 3. We got to look at that 2-hour, right? Does this 2-hour look like it is going to be some kind of massive thing? Like there is some kind of turnaround that's going to happen right now for Baba. No, it just doesn't. This looks like it could get an oversold bounce, right? What you would want here is that bounce right now. This is how Baba makes everything good right now, right? Specifically right now. You see an absolutely rapid 2-hour move to the upside. You see this 1, 2, 3, and you just fucking bam, get above that. That's how Baba comes back. Baba needs to show a 2-hour that never makes another lower high is pretty much what needs to happen. It needs to not make a lower high here. It needs to not make that lower high here. It needs to not make that lower high here. It needs to not make that lower high all the way here. Or else you're going to do what? You're going to come back down to here. So if you keep going down and you never see a reaction like this, but instead you see like a 2-hour pop, and then the 2-hour just goes, stops and turns down. You see this roll over one more time, then that's probably going down into, I would even say 101.29. So in order for this to be bullish, how can we look at it? How can we actually take a trade like right now? Well, you can look from like a weekly perspective and look how the weekly is saying what? Like look, like that. I don't think so, man. I don't think so on this one, guys. Now, you don't have divergence or anything like that. You're getting a lower high. I mean, what is most likely happening here is you're going to tap back down into this wick for a moment, and then you're going to see it start going back up. You want to see if it dictates some kind of higher low right here. So I'd say this is a tough one. How would I take a trade with this? I would look at this from a swing trading perspective. Swing trading perspective. So I'm giving you the type of trading that I think would be easy to execute for this stock. I can use my other skills. I can look for a 2-hour divergence or a 2-hour higher low. So higher, lower divergence to make a decision. Or I can just look at the daily, let the daily do whatever it wants to do, and then curl up. And if that is somewhat near that center line, I can say, I'll assume that risk because I know where the sellers are. They're at like 129, 130. And so if we're going to at least get to those sellers, that's still a good trade for me. That's how I would look at it. If the daily can curl up, and the sooner the better for the daily to curl up right now. So the next trade is a daily swing trade. If you do it right now, you just go bam like this, you're very likely to do what? Bam, bam, bam. You just curl up. So if you're able to see that daily curl up in here, right? We see like one thick green juicy bar, just bam, the Hulk on some Viagra. You see one of those kind of bars? Yeah, then I'd say that Baba's going to be able to come back because right now it doesn't look good. From my perspective, it does not look good. So let it show you that it's good before you buy it is what I'm overall saying here. I'm saying do a strategy that doesn't get you in at an exact bottom. If you see a bottoming signal, okay. But if you don't, then these are other things you can utilize. Wait for momentum to just tell you the play is good and then know the key areas to execute. That means what? If the daily curls up here, I'm only targeting like here and here, right? I'm going to say I'm going to sell a little bit here, not all of it. And then here I want to be at least break even or making some money. And then if we continue that move and we see it big, that's my runners. And then once I see a break or a touch of this top, I say I'm out, right? And then if this can come back down, where's my next trade? Right here. Yeah, literally just trying to walk you through like my thought process with how I would execute on this one. I'm not paying attention to Baba right now, but we already, yeah, we went through, actually we didn't go through Nvidia, and I'm taking my time with it. I'm not being yelled at yet, so we're okay. Nvidia and Tesla are in the same boat, and I think I got rid of this zone yesterday during the video, but I was like, why did I do that? Yes, this is what you want to be marking off right now. And you do want to change it as it extends and the bullishness comes in, because you easily could have been terrible right here. Like literally, this should have been awful. This little drop right here, frickin' A. Just appreciate that it showed you a 30-minute divergence on the RSI. Like just appreciate that, because that could have broken down aggressively down to here. That's what's crazy. But it got saved. All right, this is why you pay attention to mostly bullish things. But I understand, like, here's what I'm saying. I understand if someone took a short right here and lost money on the play and managed risk and lost money on the play. Like, I totally understand, because this looks like what we're gonna freaking break down. The only thing that stops me from it is any kind of divergence. I don't like to take any kind of divergence. Any divergence I see, I'm not taking the roll down. But yeah, I could totally understand. Like, oh yeah, I got this one right. Oh yeah, it's doing it again. Oh, but there's divergence this time. So just be aware of those things. 2 hour. So the reason that Nvidia and Tesla are two very hard reads right now is because you are in the contradiction here between price action versus technical analysis. Okay. So Nvidia is good with price action, very good with price action, showing you the way higher, dipping back down in the buyers, right? So this is where people will take that risk. Some people will make that decision. Will they be able to produce a new high is the question going into Monday and Tuesday for Tesla and for Nvidia. You need to see new highs there. Even if you get a more aggressive pullback afterwards, I would rather see a new high right now. So the reason that technicals are saying bad things is the technicals are saying this is extremely weak, like extremely. Look at this RSI. It is saying it is extremely weak, like holy crap kind of weak, and it's confirmed. So you have a serious amount of weakness for Nvidia on the 2 hour momentum, but at the same time, the price action hasn't broken down, and you consider the environment we're in. We are in that squeeze environment still, as far as we know. Let's go check, like, right? We're going to come back to Nvidia, but let's check here. On the daily scale, okay, we have the positive. Okay, we're positive territory. We're making a block. We're doing the similar behavior to right here. We're overall still bullish to neutral as far as price action goes. You're bullish to neutral. It hasn't fully ever done the bearish thing. So I need to take that in consideration, especially with a big ass stock like Nvidia, and say, hey, this 30-minute could curl up on Monday and we could see a big move. If I see a rejection on Monday, maybe that's going to tear it down. Where would I see rejection from as far as price action goes? Bam, right there. If you get this, and actually, I think there's a sliver in here, right there. So if you come into this type of area and then you see this 30-minute curl up and roll and not make any pathway higher, then you're at least heading lower. And if you break that low, then you can actually see a daily pullback to go even lower. All right, that's how this will most likely play out, and we'll watch it with you tomorrow, okay? I'll make sure to pull up Nvidia a few times, all right? Make sure you ask tomorrow, because that's how I see it for the time being. You're in a serious contradiction with stocks like Tesla, stocks like Nvidia, that the only argument from here is do something completely irrational and squeeze. That's the argument for Nvidia and Tesla in my book, is price action is telling you we're going to squeeze. If it's not telling you we're going to squeeze, then we're going to daily pull back, is kind of what Nvidia is saying. Yeah, so yeah, these are your premium killers. You're always going to get a big move into a small. So here, you're in the premium killer right now. You've been in the premium killer, right? A little bit more aggressive, right? So you've seen increased volatility with it, but just like over here, up, but kind of stays in. Up, but kind of stays in, right? Stays in, right? You're not seeing like bam, into this, into bam, into bam. You're not seeing any of that. Did I just draw a cat? Sorry guys, I have ADHD. We gotta feed the ADHD every once in a while. I think I just made a cross-eyed cat. Sick. Okay, sorry about that. We had to feed the ADHD for a second. Okay, sorry. We're overall in that period of time now where people are guessing back and forth, but nobody really knows. Good afternoon, Bernie. Yeah, so going back over to Nvidia just one last time here. This means what? The daily chart does not want to cross down here. What do you want to see from Nvidia? You want to see a freaking squeeze. If I'm being 100% honest here, Nvidia needs to get to some critical levels. I'll look if anything matches up for this week. No. I'll tell you what Nvidia is leaning towards this week according to weekly expected moves. Okay, so Nvidia needs to squeeze here. It needs to just be irrational and just keep going up to here. That's what needs to happen here. And then you're probably going to do what? That's when you're probably going to see something aggressive. Maybe just down into here, right? But it also could do this. Then start to go again. It literally can do all of this. So for Nvidia, I'm going to tell you what is very likely for the week. Let me get the exact level. I'll get it for you because everyone wants it. I know you want it. I know you want it. Okay, so Nvidia, the most probable thing is early on in the week, you are either going to see this rip, and maybe even it's a 2-push move, right? Rip to make a new high, and then that new high might fail, and you dip down again. Actually, let's do this differently. So the way that Nvidia would move here is if you see one big ass push like this, and it doesn't make a new high or low, you're not going to see something crazy this week. And this is going to do this. Wham, wham. And you're going to go deeper into the zone, and it's going to be delayed. If you can show a new high, though, in some way, that means even if you do this, but you show the new high, you just peek your head above here, I think you want to see a mega thing here, maybe even a dip further down, then you get the thing to go up like this. Then you can pull back into Friday, start to squeeze into Friday afternoon. I think that would be fantastic. So I need to see if Nvidia is able to take out that high. As of right now, Nvidia shows a clear pathway like down because you've lost this low. And so what you need is you need to see a new high here. Because what's very likely to happen for Nvidia here is it's going to make some kind of move up and then actually just drop, or some kind of move way up and then just drop. It's very likely to do something like this first, and then we see if that thing can turn around, right? Just a little delay. But I don't think you want to be curled down very long here. Nvidia and Tesla, I will be very honest with you, they are two hard ones to call right now. And everything kind of is saying like, hey, can I daily pullback first and then we squeeze? It's like squeeze right now and just kind of melt like bip, 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 and then see something bad? Or are we just going to be like, let's just daily pullback. Let's daily pullback for whatever reason we want. You what? We got that steel stuff. Yeah, the steel stuff. Let's do something with that. All right, Trump's gonna do it. We know Trump told us. Our little insiders told us in about 4 days he's gonna have like a deal. Right? This is how they probably do things. Hey, we're gonna have a deal in like he said in the next 5 days. He said probably not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, let's just dump this thing for a sec. Get it down a little bit lower. That'd be so funny. I think either the best analysis, you are going to see a daily upside move. It's just where that daily upside move is, like either right now or a test of 564, 560. I mean, for now, you just want trend to hold. For now, if you want to keep squeezing, you want the new high, right? You want this to keep squeezing. Okay, beat this one. All right, squeeze, beat that one. All right, come back down into it. Okay, beat that one. Okay, you want to keep squeezing? Okay, beat that one. Like, you always just want to be up, I think. The momentum is so weak here that it's like anytime you dip down, you want to just be like, just go up, just go up, just go up. I don't think that you have the groundwork here for a 2-hour pullback. I think if your 2-hour pulls back any further, you might be screwed. Like, if the 2-hour just does this, you're screwed. Bam, bam. So I think the 2 hour just wants to go. I think you just want like the 30-minute not to really look back. You just slowly grind your way up. Right? Then on Friday, we can maybe see something like this. We just keep grinding our way up. I think that's the only real pathway for this to like squeeze right now. I truly think the Harry Potter lightning bolt is all we got for us if you want to be bullish right now. So we'll see on Monday. All right, guys, I got to hop off. I got to get out of here. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining in. It was a lot of fun. Had some good times, had some bad times. You know, some things bullish, some things bearish. Trying to be very unbiased with it. Just look at it how I see it. Looks pretty nice to me. I hope that things go up sooner rather than later. That'd be the best. But if they go down first, ooh, I like things for cheap, you know? All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for a bit today. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Make sure if you didn't get the moves or anything like that, we show them off at the beginning of the video. I literally like click into the SPY and show you like, hey, these yellow lines are the monthly and this might be in the first 7 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. But so if you need any of that info, just do that or join the Patreon because it's all there with second standard deviation. So thank you guys. Have a great day. I will see you guys in the morning. Just remember that for June, we will not have the end of day live stream for the time being. I'm going to be working on some things in the back end, be looking at potential things to get a private live stream for some more serious people if that's possible. So we'll see. Thank you guys for joining. Hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.